The son to President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, identified as Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is also the commander of the defense forces in Uganda, has been trending for 2 days now in Kenya, yesterday and today. And the main reason why this son is trending is because he declared that the army of Uganda, the Ugandan army, would capture Nairobi in 2 weeks to unite the two countries to become one, Uganda and Kenya, to unite them to become one. And that was in the first step to unite the whole of East Africa into one country. Now, there's a lot of speculations about the seriousness and the jokingness about that statement, but I have identified 3 things that could be possible, and that one I will explain to you. Number 1 is that most probably the son to Museveni was just joking and chasing clout because he just wanted to achieve a milestone on Twitter by Kenyans following him and him following the footpath of his father, who is also with a lot of following from Kenyans. Remember, Kenya is one of the countries where social media is one of the countries where its people, the people of Kenya, are very addicted to social media and they are very responsive to social media. And that may be different from any other country. Maybe he attacked the country so that he could acquire more followers, maybe 1 million or plus. That's one reason. Reason number 2, it could be that President Yoweri Museveni was speaking in his son, using his son to deliver a message to Kenya that we are about to force you into a unity, to force these two countries to become one. Now, before you judge me, just be calm and wait for me to explain myself. And number 3, maybe Museveni was using his son to pass a message to the whole of Africa and probably to the whole of the world, to tell them that although we say that Museveni is the only remaining dictator in Africa, having been the longest serving president in Africa and most probably in the world after Queen Elizabeth, who just died a few days ago, he doesn't care about how he runs Uganda and he doesn't care about how he runs Africa. Maybe this is a message he was sending using his son, but I know there are those people who don't understand how these things came to pass from yesterday to today, how so many things have happened about Kenya and Uganda and why he is trending. Now, I want to take some few minutes to explain to you how he systematically set the tweets and how it is becoming, first as a joke and second as a major declaration by the government of Uganda. Now, I want to take you to the tweets of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the son now to President Yoweri Museveni. And before I do that, if you're here for the first time and you're not subscribed to this channel, kindly do subscribe. If you're watching this video from a different platform, kindly run to YouTube, search for Kim Explains and subscribe to my channel. It started yesterday from the day I'm making this video. On 3rd October 2022, Muhoozi Kainerugaba made a phone call to President Uhuru Kenyatta. And he expressed how he loved President Uhuru Kenyatta and said that the president was about, the former president in this case, was about to visit Uganda. He said, just spoke to my big brother, Afande Uhuru, an incredible man. I love him for his courage, honesty, and intelligence. He will visit Uganda soon. Then after that tweet got around 5.8k likes and some retweets. But if you look at the other tweets that he made, the tweets were making about less than 100 likes. Less than 100 probably. Most of them are less than 100 likes, although there are those that are exceeding 100. But immediately he mentioned anything with Kenya. Now this is where I'm trying to prove that maybe he was just clout chasing to have some numbers. Immediately he tweeted about President Uhuru Kenyatta. That tweet alone got 5.8k likes. And then after that, that tweet was done at around what time? At around 2:44 p.m. 2:44 p.m. Then some minutes later, it's kind of he realized that Kenyan materials are selling online better than Ugandan tweets. And now he wanted to speak to the Kenyans directly and said something about the just concluded election where President William Ruto was declared the winner. And said that his only problem with the president, the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, is that Uhuru did not go for a third term. Remember, the Kenyan constitution only allows a president to go for two terms only, and then he retires. So his only problem is that the president only went for 2 terms and did not run for a third term. And he, the son now to Museveni, Muhonzi, believes that if President Uhuru Kenyatta went for a third term, he could win very easily. And that tweet alone, which he tweeted at around 10 minutes after the other one, where he was praising President Uhuru Kenyatta, at 2:55 p.m. got 9.3k likes. I hope you can see that. After getting all those likes, then some Kenyans were reacting and he was also reacting. Then after the reactions, Kenyans were telling him and the world was telling him that Kenya is more democratic and they respect the constitution so much. And he could not believe this. He just wondered, he laughed at ha. I love my Kenyan relatives. Constitution, rule of law, you must be joking. For us, there is only the revolution and you will soon learn about it. Understand me? Now he's joking about the constitution and the application of the constitution in Kenya vis-a-vis in Uganda. He says that Ugandans only recognize devolution. All the others is a joke. In fact, he was laughing. And then from that place, about very few minutes later, that was 2:55 p.m. Then at around 10:02, almost 10 o'clock p.m. on the same date, he tweeted that it will take us, my army and me, 2 weeks to capture Nairobi. And that is where fire started. It will take us 2 weeks to capture Nairobi. And therefore, after just tweeting that, he got 19.8k views. Not views, I mean 19.8k likes. Those are the likes only, from Kenyans only. And some people reacted from Kenya, people were reacting and that was going viral. So the account to this honorable man, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the son to President Yoweri Museveni, also went viral. 19k views. Likes. Then after getting that, Kenyans reacting, and they actually insulted him, wondering how could a country like Uganda invade Kenya, yet Kenya is bigger than Uganda. As a matter of fact, the army in Kenya is more specially trained and very experienced in that purpose. How could such a country invade Kenya? And then, after being insulted so much and being trolled by senior politicians and Kenyans, he went ahead and tweeted at around 1 hour later. He said that, I'm happy that members of our district in Kenya have responded enthusiastically to my tweet. It's still 2 weeks. So that was just like, I think it was just about humiliating Kenyans and trying to put a hot nail on a fresh wound to see how Kenyans would react. Then after that, he said that after our army captures Nairobi, where should I live? Is it Westlands or Riverside? So he was just deciding where. That was again a continuation of the humiliation to Kenyans. He wanted to provoke their reactions. And from there, he tweeted on the same date. Remember, all this is happening on the same date at 1849. That's 49 minutes later, or around 40 minutes later. He tweeted and said, "My Kenyan brothers, we are going to be one country. Any war against us will end quickly." So up to this point, you realize that this is now getting serious. We have 4 tweets all at the same time, almost at the same time, and the guy is repeating himself. So that tells you he's no longer now joking. If it was joking, it could now mean that he could only tweet once. But now this is the 4th tweet and he is repeating the same thing. At the same time, you remember that this guy is not just a normal citizen. He is not just a normal boy who is raised by a dynasty and who belongs to the dynasties. He is the commander of the armed forces, of the defense forces in Uganda. So now this was getting serious. And he said, he continued the threats. Then 6 minutes later, he said that the borders that were established by the colonizers mean nothing to us, revolutionaries, Nairobi. That means he doesn't recognize the border between Kenya and Uganda. He believes Kenya and Uganda should be one country. This is now getting serious. A moment later, very few minutes later, about 7 p.m., he tweeted again and said, and he posted a photo of the first president of the Republic of Kenya, President Jomo Kenyatta, and said that he ordered us to remain one people. We will fight for his vision. Now he's speaking about the father to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is a friend to him, and saying that the first president, Jomo Kenyatta, ordered Africans to remain united, and that vision is what Muhonzi is going for. Then after realizing that Kenyans were angry and they were just reacting, he tweeted something that looked like an apology, but not an apology. In this case, it was like a continuation of the same threats that he was sending. And he said, KOT, that means Kenyans on Twitter, I forgive you all for the insult you have hurled against me. Please, let's work together to make East Africa great. Do you treat that as an apology? That's not an apology, and that is not to withdraw the words that he had previously tweeted. It is just to make or to stamp whatever he had said, and saying that he is still determined to bring these two countries together to make them one, probably the whole of East Africa to become one. And then about 8 p.m., he said that this is now something like to withdraw the remarks, but not really withdrawing. I would never beat up the Kenyan army because my father told me never to attempt it. So our people in Kenya should relax, but never beat the Kenyan army. So people of Kenya, relax. Who told him that? Not from his mind, but an advice from his father, Museveni. And this is where the voice of Museveni comes in. Now, Museveni knows this guy. The guy is his son, his very own son, who he has already made the commander of the defense forces. So Museveni, after knowing that, what did he say about that tweet? Nothing. And all of a sudden, this guy, instead of Museveni holding a press conference and telling Kenyans that we withdrew that word, or forcing his son to call for a press conference so that this could look serious, the guy just tweets, I will never beat up Kenyan army, so relax. So Museveni, the voice of Museveni comes in. The father was mentioned. And then he addressed the whole of Africa, posted a photo of himself smiling and asked them to retweet and like the project. Let me see how many East Africans still love me. Retweet and like for our projects. Now this is to test waters. What is Tanzania saying about this? What is Ethiopia saying about this? What is Somalia saying about this? Are they liking it? Are they still liking the fact that I'm speaking about uniting Kenya and Uganda and probably the whole of Africa? And that tweet got 12K likes. So it never went anywhere. He asked them to retweet, but only 2.7K retweeted. I don't know whether that was a win to him or to anyone, but I don't know. But this is where the most important aspect comes in. I told you the first thing could be that the son to Museveni was just clout chasing and he was just looking for more followers. Today, now the next day, on 4th of October 2022 at around 9 a.m., he achieved 600K followers and he had to post that. Ask yourself, he's a member of the armed forces. In fact, he is their leaders. Does he have time to joke with Kenyans? Does he have time to joke with Kenyans on Twitter about their country and how he could invade the country when he is the person of that caliber, the commander of the army, of the Ugandan army? Was that just a deliberate act, or was it a planned act? Or was it just a joke? He tweeted and said, "Thank you, my followers. Let's make it 1 million soon. I appreciate the love." So this is where my first aspect of cloud chasing comes. It was yesterday, he was not yet at 600K followers. And now today, he has tweeted that he has attained 600K followers. So has he achieved what he was intending to achieve yesterday? 1, cloud chasing. Number 2, why I said that maybe President Museveni was the one who was speaking through his son, speaking to Kenyans. I have already explained that, because the fact that Museveni was silent, yet this was trending in Kenya, and he is one of the people who received the most intelligence on what is happening in the country and outside country, he would have taken an action. Though he took an action and said that the government of Uganda does not speak through social media, he himself, the president, Yoweri Museveni, has an account, but he did not use that account to communicate and say that the account to his son is not communicated what is the stand for the government of Uganda. He said nothing, and most probably he was the one who was speaking to Kenyans, not his son really, because he is the commander-in-chief. So I will skip everything, all the nonsense that this guy tweeted, and take you to this tweet by Chimp Reports. Chimp Reports, or it was reported that the government of Uganda had promoted this son to Ugandan president. President Museveni had promoted Muhonzi, his son, to become now a real general, not only a commander of the defense forces. It reads that President Museveni has promoted Lieutenant General Muhonzi to the rank of general. Now, he is not just only a member of the armed forces. He is now a general. That's to be promoted and to be given a higher rank in the army. That means he now commands he commands the full range of the Ugandan army, not only the defense forces, but he's probably the first in command after the commander-in-chief. So the son jokes, or probably speaks about something that is very serious to the unity of Kenya and Uganda and Tanzania and the whole of East Africa, something that could trigger war between Kenya and Uganda, then the president remains silent. Then when the president comes to speak, instead of speaking verbally or directly to the country, he just say that we don't recognize social media, and at the same time promotes the joker to a higher rank in the army where he can easily plan whatever he was joking about. Am I speaking to somebody? I don't know whether I'm speaking to somebody. And by the way, if you're still watching until this moment, then it means you're enjoying the show. This is the Kim Explains show. We do explain complicated things and explain what is trending so that most people can understand why it is trending and maybe what it means. So if you're there and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. When you subscribe, when you click that subscribe button, there's a small bell that comes out. Click on that bell so that you could be notified every time I make video of such a content. So don't leave without subscribing, and probably leave a comment. It will do me a lot of favor. So I want to conclude this by asking you a question. Number one, do you think this was just a joke? Do you think this was just clout chasing? Why do you think so? Number two, do you think this guy was serious that the Ugandan army can attack the Kenyan army to capture it and to create one country, Uganda together with Kenya? Give us your opinion in the comment section. And lastly, I want to end this by saying that possibly it was President Museveni delivering a message to Kenya and to the whole world. Now remember, there's already a war between Russia and Ukraine. And the two presidents fighting is between Putin and the president of Ukraine. And Putin believes that he is more powerful and that the world should recognize that he can do something that is very crazy. He can do crazy things on the world, and the world remained shocked. Oil went up, both cooking oil and fuel, everything went up because that is energy and he controls energy. And now the president of Uganda is probably threatening Kenya that he can stop everything that you guys import from Kenya. He can even send his army to Kenya to capture you and you become one of us. And that is something he's not hiding from the world. He's not just speaking to Kenya or to the Africans. He's speaking to the world that I can do what you cannot expect. I don't know whether I'm speaking. Is it that Museveni, as the only remaining dictator, is willing to throw his last shot and capture Kenya, force them to create one country, or to forcibly unite East Africa to become as one country? Just as we have South Africa as a country, we have East Africa as a country. Or, last one, just as a bonus, is President Museveni preparing his son to succeed him after he retires? Because age is just a challenge to him. He might not be able to go for another election, and even if he goes, he might not be able to rule, because at that time he's too old and he's obviously dying because he's a man and he will die. Is he grooming his son to succeed him in the Ugandan politics? I don't know how you feel. Kindly share your views in the comment section. My name is Wilson Kimani, and that is Kim Explains. Remember to subscribe and to give me a thumb up for this video. Thank you. Have a good time. Bye.